Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, we're going to pull up this screen. All right, our QB coach, HALZLE, has said they're going to have a competition this offseason in the quarterback room, and he spoke quite a bit about it. I think it's the most they've spoken about it since I've been watching. It says Coach Joey HALZLE, he's the QB coach. A lot of people think he's going to be our offensive coordinator. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. If that happens, I don't think it's guaranteed, but there's a pretty good chance he will be, given the fact he spent so many years with Coach Heupel. And he provided clarity of what's ahead for Tennessee at quarterback. The Vols intend to open things up and have a quarterback competition this offseason. The process informally will start against Clemson in the Orange Bowl on Friday night, of course. That makes perfect sense. Joe Milton, this will be a second start. Replaced awesome Hendon Hooker. Man, what a great quarterback Hendon was for us. Man. But when he was asked if Milton would be the guy for Tennessee moving forward, HALZLE said a competition is coming. And, of course, besides Joe Milton, you've also got Tavon Jackson and, of course, Nico. We also have a couple of walk-ons that are actually pretty good quarterbacks. And, you know, sometimes I don't bring them up because they're not scholarship quarterbacks, but they're actually pretty darn good. And that's Gaston Moore and Navy Schuler, who is Heath Schuler's son. Of course, Heath Schuler is one of the best quarterbacks we ever had. And then he was asked if there'd be any additions to the quarterback room as far as transfer portal or anything along those lines or more recruits. He said, don't expect that. So it sounds like they're going to go with the QBs that they've got in the room, certainly up until the spring. Now, what happens in the spring, you know, there's the transfer portal from May 1st to May 15th. So there is a possibility we could have a quarterback transfer out. It's hard to say how this is going to go. If it's an open competition, the way they're discussing, it'll just be, you know, whoever's the best. And it'll be a battle because Joe Milton's, you know, got all the skills in the world. And I want to make sure everybody understands something before anybody comes out and says, oh, well, you're saying Joe's not good enough. Let me tell you something. Understand the words I'm saying.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
If Joe goes out there and plays well in the Clemson game, throws for, 62, 65% completion rate, throws for 280, 300, 320, whether we win the game or not, and he protects the ball, I think we've got our starting quarterback for next year, or at least he's got a big head start. And that would be ideal for us. What would be best for us if Joe plays well and he's the starting quarterback the whole year, and then Nico can put on, 20 pounds or so and really learn the system, and he's not under constant pressure. Tavon Jackson, I expect him to compete strongly and see how he comes out. You never know. He's an awful good quarterback. That would be ideal. But if for some reason it doesn't play out that way, having an open competition is a really good idea because, you may end up needing Nico, or you may need Tavon Jackson earlier than you think. And there's 9 months between now and the next game. So there's a lot can happen between those 9 months. So it's best to be prepared. And I like the fact they're not just saying, hey, you're the starting quarterback no matter what. You got to earn it. I think that's a good thing. Asked about the game, he says, of course that weighs in. Because what you do on the field, it matters as far as who's playing. He said, but yeah, we'll have a quarterback competition. And he said Milton said last week that he viewed himself as a starting QB. I think that's perfectly normal. If I was Milton, I absolutely would see myself that way. So the conversation's been had with all of them. They all understand the situation. And if you're not really sure who Joey HALZLE really is, because, he wasn't the offensive coordinator in 2022, that was Alex Golesh, as you know, and now he's moved on to University of South Florida. He's the head coach there now after all the success they had this year. And realize, Tennessee went from 108th in offense to number 7 their first year, which was last year. And then they went from 7th to 1st. So, of course, your offensive coordinator is going to get hired. That is just, that's just how it is. When you're successful, you're going to lose your coordinators. That's just the way it is. Ask Nick Saban how that's been. But HALZLE actually was a quarterback at Oklahoma for 3 seasons, and that's how you pronounce his name, HALZLE. And, of course, he worked with Hendon Hooker. He's worked with a lot of successful quarterbacks at UCF. And so he spent several years with Coach Heupel as well. So I think that's good and that's healthy. Having competition is really important. Unless a player just outright takes it like Hendon Hooker did last year, he came in, just played so well, it was pretty obvious once he really got an opportunity. You need to have open competition. That gives everybody an opportunity. And look, steel hardened steel. The more competition you got, the better off you are on a football team, because the last thing you want is people thinking, hey, I'm set no matter what I do. That's not a good situation in a competitive game like football, where effort and doing your homework and practicing You know, practicing doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So understand that.
Learn it, know it, live it.
So you want people going in there headstrong and trying to win. And here's the thing about competition in practice. You win that gives you confidence to go in and win the big game. And without competition, you're not testing yourself. You're not putting yourself under pressure. And I think this is a good thing long-term for the Vols. And this game Friday's big. It really is. It's really important, and it's going to be tough. You know, Joe's out there without two of his primary targets, and Jeremy Banks won't be there on defense. So, you know, it's gonna be difficult. Now, Clemson's missing a couple of first-round draft picks off the defensive line, so hopefully that will keep a little bit of pressure off Joe, and he'll have a little bit more time. I think he will, and I think if he plays well, I think that just bodes well for the future, big time. But it sounds like we're going to have a competition either way. And as far as those walk-ons are concerned, look, you know, they may turn out to be good. Now, it is pretty rare. You almost never see a walk-on starting in an SEC game. That's pretty rare unless you got a bunch of injuries or something. Stetson Bennett's standing right behind me, isn't he? I hate it when he does that. I hate that Stetson Bennett.
And I hate that Bob Parker.
Okay.
There's always an exception, though. Always an exception. All right, folks, just thought I'd take a few minutes and cover this. Coach HALZLE talking about the competition this offseason, the quarterback situation. That's what everybody's talking about. And, of course, the big game coming up Friday. Pretty exciting. I know everybody's pumped up about it. And if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. And right on my left right here is my subscribe button. If you'll hit that button right there, you'll get my videos a lot easier. You won't have to hunt for them. Just makes it easier. And right here on my right, YouTube throws a video right there based on your viewing history that they think you'll enjoy, so be sure to check that out. And I hope you did like the content. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.